All right, let's take it from the top. All right. Here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Thursday evening. Another edition of KnicksFanTV Live presented by Manscaped. CP the franchise here. Draft night is over. And after a series of wheeling and dealing, man, Leon Rose and the New York Knicks have come away with 4 prospects that we got to do a deep dive on, man. And joining me tonight is none other than David Zenon, man, a fan favorite here at KnicksFanTV. We're going to give you the ins and outs, man. Full scouting report on the 4 pickups, including Tyler Kolek, point guard out of Marquette. They get Kevin McCullar Jr., the wing out of Kansas with the 56th pick. Ariel Hukporti with 58. And, of course, last night they came up with Pacome Dadiet. So we're going to talk about it, man. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel. Call us up. You got questions for David, man. Call us up, 657-383-1509, or you can hit us up on the KFTV Discord, man. Let's get into it. Show number 2 of our doubleheader. And salute to everybody in the chat, man. As usual, salute to our franchise channel members, everybody watching on Facebook as well, my Facebook people, and Twitter as well. So let's get right into it, man. Knicks did a lot of maneuvering over the past 2 days, some for cost-cutting measures and others because in typical Knicks fashion, they're able to find value on their board and not worried about where they pick. And today was no different because they were able to select Tyler Kolek, the 6'3 guard out of Marquette, former Big East Player of the Year, standout senior, and they picked him with the 34th pick. They moved up from 38 to 34 and picked him up. Averaged 15 and 7, led the Big East in assists this year. 15 points, 7 assists, 60% true shooting percentage, 38% from 3, man. What'd you think of the pickup?
TJ McCollum.
TJ McCollum. They got him. They got him.
We got the Knicks fans got their version of TJ. This kid, obviously, I got to watch him a lot playing against UConn and St. John's, and obviously the system that they run in Marquette did a really good job with utilizing his bigs. Obviously, also as well being drafted by the Phoenix Suns. They caught my eye early, that team, obviously, and then they ranked to the top 10 in the country. But Kolek, man, he's pesky, very smart. He's not going to blow you away with his athleticism. However, yes, catch and shoot opportunities, he can knock it down. He's a smart player. He's very heady. I like him a lot, man. This is a diamond in the rough. I don't like to use that term a lot, but he's one of those guys that will get rotation minutes if he's able to play defense the way that Tibbs is looking for him to play defense. He's like NBA ready. I really like this guy a lot.
This was a pickup that many liked, and a lot were hoping they would get after night 1 was over because the Knicks do need some playmaking punch off of the bench. And, it's not clear how much money they're going to have to go out there and get a vet. Like, is there a vet that they get on the vet minimum? Is it a Lowry, a Campaign, someone of that caliber? But to go out there and get a young player, a young skilled playmaker, I think that's going to bode well for him. What do you think he's going to need to do? Because we know Tibbs' style typically, especially with the younger players, is to, kind of start them off situationally. McBride was a situational. Quickly got 20 minutes a game in his rookie year, but even he kind of got his minutes in certain spots, certain key minutes where he can succeed. What do you think Kolek is going to need to do to get immediate minutes with this rotation next year?
Well, I mean, he was 40% three-point shooter. So, I mean, in terms of helping to spread the floor and having a floor general in terms of the tempo, for the first time in a very long time, Knicks fans can be happy about the fact that they have a competent front office, a great coaching staff, and a roster full of defensive-minded players who could also score the ball. So the fact that this young man has to score the basketball won't be necessary. However, it'll be welcome. So considering the fact that JB is obviously the superstar point guard that the Knicks organization has longed for a while, now you have a guy who's prototypical glue dude, if you want to say that, glue guy. So yes, he's going to hit open shots. He's able to make a lot of plays in terms of, running the hammer sets. Remember, the Knicks were running a lot of like blind pig action, delay action, things, and utilizing their bigs out of that pinch post position. This is a kid who's able to create out of that, as well as we're talking about also the turnover percentage is really low. This guy's a really, really solid point guard across the board. He's not, as I said, he's not going to blow you away with his athleticism, but he's going to find guys in open shots. And who's to say that there might be a time in which he's able to be on the floor with a DiVincenzo, with the Bridges, or if OG's able to slip into the three and then they want to put Jew at the four. There's a lot of things that they could do with this guy who could just be the steady, consistent point guard off the bench. And Deuce being able to find himself offensively this past year could play next to him. There's no reason why those two can't be in the backcourt as a second unit wholeheartedly. I believe that they could do that.
How did you like his defense playing in the Big East, playing at Marquette?
I mean, the Big East is, in my opinion, it's the toughest conference in America, both in terms of basketball and just, grittiness. I mean, UConn, St. John's, Marquette, they're slugfest. Providence, you saw Devin Carter. This kid had to guard Devin Carter. Like, this is not – it wasn't a walk in the park for this young man for the entire season last year, and yet they had one of the best turnover ratios in the country. So you're looking at that. And also, Shaka Smart is going to put his guards in positions to be running a pro set and defense that, very much could play in his favor if he comes to the system that Tibbs has defensively as well. And as we said, now that they have wings, lockdown wings, there's a lot that this kid can do in terms of just playing the passing lane, face guarding his man. He could be able to get away with, reaching here and there because he basically has, an iron curtain behind him. So, I think he's going to fit in pretty well. I think that's how he's going to get his minutes. I would say this, though. He was a strong two-way player in the Big East. Going through screens and things like that, he is a little bit smaller. In size, he's 6'3", but in terms of his frame, strong body, he could obviously create his own shot and do things like that offensively. My only thing is we're looking at a guy that's, Austin Reeves, Luke Kennard type. That teams are going to try to test him early just to see how good of a defensive player he is. But I'm not worried about it. I think that, as I said, it helps having those guys behind him. And, an on-ball hawk like Deuce, maybe it might be able to help hide him a little bit with what they got going on over there.
What do you think he's older, he's a senior, 23, same age as Deuce, but, just moving from college to the pros, young point guard with the playmaking prowess, what do you think is going to be the biggest adjustment for him to maintain that, keep that up?
I think the spacing is going to help. The NBA, the pace and the spacing. I mean, the Knicks did a really good job of allowing DiVincenzo to find his rhythm offensively. Obviously, from the perimeter, he went nuts. Deuce made that leap, shooting from the perimeter. And now, as I said, you could honestly have a group of dudes that are 38% three-point shooters and better, surrounding him. So play safe, play within your system, know your role. We know how Tibbs is in terms of, roles. So if this kid is going to be in a situation in which he just has to be the facilitator, go for it. Pass the ball, play some defense, keep the offense in check. As I said, the Knicks do a lot of, delay actions, pistol, blind pick, things like that, in which it's, if you have the opportunity to touch the paint, allow the defense to suck in and kick out, take advantage of it, man. They finally have a bunch of shooters that also are lockdown defenders.
CP the franchise, David Zenon on the ones and twos. Tyler Kolek, the Knicks pick up Kolek, man, number 34 pick out of Marquette, 23-year-old senior, 6'3". Once again, 15 points per game, 7.7 assists, which led the Big East. Here was a soundbite. Shout out to Papa Left for this. Here was a soundbite from Kolek on a interview that he did to talk about, what he brings to the game and how he wants to contribute to an NBA team. Here he was.
I feel like a lot of the stars and the guys that really love to score the ball love to play with me just because I find them in any position and have those conversations of where they like the ball, what kind of spots they like the ball in. But, I love watching Jalen Brunson, just the way he does it at his size. His footwork is really incredible.
All right, that was Tyler, man, and he's going to be going up against JB in practice, so could have a little iron sharpens iron, and what a way to get into the league and get your feet wet with the New York Knicks by having to guard Jalen Brunson every day.
You better strap up, young man.
Yeah.
There's no better player to learn how to be able to touch the paint, play off 2 feet than Jalen Brunson right now. You know, this is the guy to kind of shore up that backup point guard spot and not put enough pressure on him that he has to score the ball in those situations. I mean, and honestly, if we're being, pretty transparent, the guards for the Knicks that were able to score a lot of these open shots, we're talking about slot cuts, getting open opportunities in which the defense has to rotate. They have an opportunity to actually have some fluidity with that offense in the second unit.
Yes, sir.
Just because of the fact that tempo can change now. And, of course, the first unit having Julius is coming back, OG, figuring out which way he's going to fit McCall. I mean, they have a lot of pieces that could really, really make this offense click. So, yeah, I really like it a lot. And also, Josh Hart being the offensive rebounder that he is, we're going to have a lot of opportunities for kickouts. This kid is a great catch and shoot, three-point shooter from the top of the key. We're talking about 35 to 40% from the top of the key. That's where a lot of those kickouts are going to go to. So I think it's a good fit.
Yeah, I like it, man. And to me, of these picks, he's the most likely to get playing time and battle for a rotation spot. And he's got that chip on his shoulder like everybody else, like Jalen and Josh and DiVincenzo. He's going to fit right into the culture because he's another guy who feels like he's been overlooked every step of the way. So he's going to be playing with that chip on his shoulder, man. And, a plug-and-play ready kid, 23 years old, senior, which is what I wanted the Knicks to look for, especially in these later rounds. Someone who can come in, is smart, and can contribute right away. They found a guy, it seems like.
And I think the journey to get here, his development every year, he's gotten so much better. Remember, he didn't start at Marquette. He originally started his career at George Mason.
George Mason, yeah.
So, Atlantic 10 basketball, obviously the system was a little bit different, with the tempo that conference plays in. But then when you get to the Big East, you got dogs every night. As I said, it's not a cakewalk. So for him, playing in a smaller, court in which this, it's not as spread, it's not the opportunity to score or as often, for him to be able to average 15 at the high percentage that he did shooting wise, and the assist numbers were pretty good. Yeah, I think he's going to fit pretty well.
One of the I was reading a scouting report on him, and they talked about his wingspan, a lack of wingspan could be an issue for him. We saw with DiVincenzo, as hot as he was from three, scoring at the rim was also trouble for him as well. What do you think about that with guards? Is that a potential reason why he was drafted so low, being a second-round pick? Is that a legit concern?
Not for me. I mean, I don't think it's a big issue, to be honest with you. I think if we're going to be pretty transparent, the way the NBA is nowadays, I mean, JJ Redick had a negative wingspan. He was a pretty decent player in this league. We're not looking for a superstar. You're looking for a guy that's able to shore up the second unit. And the nights that, JB is coming back from an injury, he, may need some time in order to get into the rhythm. I doubt it, but I'm just saying, you never know. There might be an instance in which we need a guy to just, steady the ship. This kid can do it. The negative wingspan thing, I don't really buy into that too much. I mean, finishing around the rim, that's also, offensive opportunities. That also depends on the center situation that the Knicks have going into the season. That's a big thing. The type of screens that they have, the system that they may have with OG and McCall playing next to each other, or OG and Hart, being on the court at the same time. The rebounding opportunities, the transition opportunities, the paint touches, the rim running. I mean, there are a lot of factors that go into that. So I'm not necessarily looking for him to finish amongst the trees. I just need the kid to be able to pass the ball and, pass the cheese to whoever's hot. But I think he could do that. And also playing with Jalen Brunson, playing off of 2 feet is now, the it thing in the NBA. He could learn a thing or two from him. Why not?
Yeah, no question about it, man. I'm excited about this pick, and hopefully he makes it to Vegas, and we'll take a look at him there. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP the franchise, David Zenon is in the building, man. Call us up, 657-383-1509, or you can hit us up on the KFTV Discord, man. Lots to discuss. Knicks wheeling and dealing, and come out with 4 picks in this draft. At least I think in Kolek's case, should certainly make the regular season roster. Now let's take a look at this next guy, and that is Kevin McCullar, the leading scorer from Kansas. Knicks took him with the number 56 pick. What do you think about McCullar, that pickup, man? 18 points per game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists for Kansas. Shot 45% from the field, 33 from 3, 80% from the charity stripe.
Like him, don't love him. I'm gonna just keep it a buck.
Yeah.
They have a bevy of wings right now, and they short up the 2-guard position. They short up the 3-guard, the wings, and then the 4. I think right now for him to get, rotation minutes, it might be something that comes down to injury or, a blowout situation. He is the type of player to help get, transition defense to turn into points. His shooting ability, yes, he can help spread the floor. It's just the way that the team is constructed right now. Obviously, I want to see what type of center the center situation is looking like for the Knicks going into it. Mm-hmm. But the defense, that's his calling card, man. This kid is actually, he's a really good defender, great defender. Kind of giving me Bruce Brown vibes, being able to stay in the corner and knock down that open 3, but also being able to face guard whatever guy's hot on the opposing team or the second unit to kind of put out a fire if the team's on a run. He's that type of player. I don't think him necessarily playing. He's going to play a lot. I think he'll be in Westchester. Yeah, will be a really good 2-way player. Develop that way because, once again, as I said, this is the first time in a long time that they have shored up 2 of each position at the wing spot. So, and he's a welcome addition. I think that he's really good. Obviously, playing the Big 12 and average 18, you're doing your thing. But, we also have some dogs at that position. But he's 6'7", and he's got a pretty good body. I don't think that it's necessarily one of the things that is going to make a big difference. But physicality-wise, I want to see how he handles playing against those guys every day to get the minutes that Tibbs is going to give him.
Well, one of the scouting reports I read said his shot creation abilities is not really there. How do you see that?
We're hitting open 3s. The mid-range is not dead, but it's something that he doesn't take advantage of. You're looking at a guy that 33% from 3 is not going to translate immediate success in the NBA. It just is what it is. And then also his form, there's some things that I was looking at. He kind of changed his shooting motion, it looked like. Just watching him a little bit last year playing for Kansas, I wanted to see how well he was as a passer as well. Didn't really, blow me out of the water with that. So I like him. I think he's going to have to develop, and then maybe he turns into an asset down the road, to get somebody else here. Or he could be one of those guys that, heaven forbid, knock on wood, OG's hurt or McKell's, McKell's Iron Man. He hasn't missed a game, but – one of those situations in which he needs to just plug in and help shore up some defensive opportunities. I think he might be good with that.
Kevin McCullar Jr. also suffered a knee injury last year, so that kind of sidelined him a little bit. Not sure if that's what led to his stock dropping, but also a senior, another senior that the Knicks picked up there. So they went ahead and got 2 of those guys there in the second round. Outside of him, Ryan Dunn was a name that was linked to the Knicks most often. They decided to pass on him yesterday. They had a chance to get him, and they went with Dadiet instead. Were you surprised there? Where were you on Ryan Dunn?
I like Ryan Dunn a lot. Ryan Dunn is that man. Ryan Dunn has the Matisse Thybulle effect, but he could score. But he takes a while to load up his shot. He's one of those guys that dips the ball and has to really have an open shot. He's not, one of those guys that's really going to create offensively for himself. But defensively, it's There's no question. Block shots, plays the lane, on ball, transition defense. He does a lot of things. I'm not mad at the fact that he's not with the Knicks. It's just look at what they have right now. It is what it is. Even Ryan Dunn, as great of a defensive player as he is, the lack of offense would be an issue in terms of him playing.
Yeah.
He's going to get minutes because he's a really good defender. One of the guys that Virginia pack line defense and, inside hand closeouts and all that type of stuff. That's great, hooray. But Mikal Bridges and OG are a little bit different. So I don't think it's one of those things where you're going to look at this 5 years from now and be like, man, I wish we had Ryan Dunn.
Yeah.
If the Knicks are able to do what they should be able to do. But I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, he's going to be a really good player, fans. I really like him a lot, but I think the Knicks made a great decision too with the first round pick that they had.
Yeah, I'm sure getting Mikal and then getting OG back certainly maybe changed their draft board a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, and then maybe that's why, and while it's not clear if Dadiet's going to be a stash pick, maybe that's why they took a flyer on him. Just being a young kid, yes, he may be a raw talent that needs time, but they kind of have time when it comes to the wings.
They do, and it's not the beautiful thing about it is you could look at Dante's a good defender, Hart's a good defender. Mikal obviously is a good defender. OG's a good defender. They're all interchangeable with how the system works. They're all able to spread the floor. So for us as fans to be like, well, we wanted this player, whatever. Well, right now they're pretty short up. There's not much more that a team could do in terms of bringing in the talent. They're in a really good position, man. Like for the first time in a long time, they're in a really good spot. So. No, I like Ryan Dunn, but I think right now what they have going on, developmentally wise, it's going to be good.
Yeah. This morning you came out on Twitter. You like the Dadiet pick. What do you think about his game?
Well, I saw him play. Now that Serge is overseas, I wanted to check out. Obviously some EuroLeague guys that I train that are over there. He caught my eye playing against the number 1 pick, Zachary. So I just wanted to see, how I am. I just want to see some dark horses and dudes that kind of pop out. He didn't get a lot in terms of playing time. I think he averaged like 15 to 20 minutes. It wasn't anything, that would blow anybody out of the water. The thing I liked with him is he plays like his age. He plays like a 19-year-old that's just like, I just want to hoop. Like I got a bag. I want to show it. I want to do all this stuff. I know that the clips that came out showed the extensive, single leg snatch and the tweens and all that other stuff. That's not necessarily his game. He's working on pace. He's working on his jump shot. He has a decent mid-range jump shot. He's a good catch and shoot guy from 3, but he needs to work on that, considerably. But his energy, I like him a lot. I mean, it's a youthfulness. And the pace that he's able to play at would be good down the road. Once again, we have a ton of wings that are shoring up defensively, which is something that he needs to work on. Now, granted, I said that he was a good, he'd be a good 3-and-D piece. That's down the road. Right now, he's not going to be that. He's one of those players I think that the Knicks can stash away for 2 years, 3 years, see how everything unfolds with OG, Mikal, how everything works contractually, because this young man will still be on a rookie deal and they could see what they're working with. He can create off the dribble, but as I said, he plays like his age. There are a lot of passes that he'll try to make that are just like, oh my God, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then there are others that are like, oh my God, how'd you get it there? So, there are certain instances in which you're going to, pull your hair watching this kid and then, applaud him for other plays that he's making. He could play the small forward. I think he's going to end up being he'll be a small forward, but he could play a little bit of the 2, just because of the fact that once he's able to learn how to properly, play with the tempo and pace and space of the NBA. That's another thing that I really want to see him in Summer League do. I want to see how well he's able to play within the construct of an NBA game. Obviously, the EuroLeague game is different with the motion and whatnot. you know that they're going to try to create off the dribble with 2, 3 dribbles, and then you got to give it up in the NBA. Europe, he had a little bit more freedom in the sense of that. So excellent cutter. That's something else I want to see. He's able to finish around the basket. He's bouncy, crazy bounce. So the athletic ability defensively, the lateral movement doesn't match as much as the vertical. So that's something that he's going to have to work on as well when he gets here. But I think they made a really, really safe and smart pick with him just because the upside is pretty big with him. I think he's going to be a really, really good player in this league.
That's Pacome Dadiet at number 25, and he went to the podium. He said, I'm not going back. So we'll see, man. We'll see what the Knicks plans
He spent 5 days in New York and was like,
yeah,
nah.
he said, nah, I'm not going back, man. And he's out here for the summertime, too, so he got a good feel for it. And then, just in terms of defensive IQ awareness, guarding in space, what did you see? I mean, I know you said you saw him for a few games. What did you see out there?
So he gambles.
Right.
I think that's the safest bet. He's raw. So it's like, when you're learning the game and offensively, I have this theory where it's like the players that play with, 100 miles per hour and they're learning the pace and change of pace and spacing of the floor, defensively it kind of trickles over to that where it's just like, I can get a steal. I'm just going to go push. I'm going to get a steal. I'm going to gamble. I'm going to play the lane. I'm going to overplay. I'm not going to play mid. I'm going to play low and then try to get that block shot. Like, there's a lot of things that the kids do where you're just like, okay, young buck, you're going to have to learn, going through screens, over screens, under screens, shading your man, tagging your man, things like that. He's learning that. So there should be a level of patience, which is great because the fans, Knicks fans, could be able to give him some grace in that department. The only issue that won't be tolerated, in my opinion, the on-ball defense. There's no way you can hide from that in a system like what the Knicks have. So he's not really a good on-ball defender, but he can play the hell out of some passing lanes. He does a good job of reading where the pass is going, but not necessarily moving on the flight of the ball. So a lot of coaches will say, don't wait until your guy catches the ball in order to move. You got to move on the flight of the ball. So he does a good job of anticipating where the ball is going. He just doesn't move when he needs to immediately to get to the ball. But that's a youth thing,
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm super athletic. I can get there when I get there. And, but I think that once he comes of age, as I said, 21, 22, some seasoning, and he really develops around guys that are steady paced. And that's another thing I would like, as much as I would like to kind of stash him away, I think him being around the club and having Mikal and OG with him every day and just seeing those guys are so like even keel, both their playing style and their personalities, that it might just be able to like temper them down a little bit and just be like, look, you don't have to be 100 miles per hour in order to get that deflection. All you need is to do is to contain, run your man off the 3-point line, let the bigs do the rest, let OG clean up the mess if you get beat off the dribble, little things like that. You don't necessarily have to be the, electric playmaker that you can be. In time, you can, but right now, you don't need to do that.
CP the Franchise, David Zidane here. Call us up, 657-383-1509, or you can hit us up on the KFTV Discord. Shout out to my Franchise channel members in the chat. If you guys are a Franchise channel member, go ahead and leave us an emoji in the chat. We'll shout you guys out. Salute to the Facebook fam. I see my people in there. Twitter, X as well, man. Salute to you guys. Hope everybody's doing well. 2,500 people on the check-in. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Number one show for the fans by the fans. We are on and popping. Okay, the last pick in the second round, the Knicks picked up Ariel Hukporti out of Australia and Germany. They called him Mr. Relevant. That's the last pick in the draft. You said you had some familiarity with him. What do you think?
Yeah, so, a couple of kids that I train from Africa know this young man. And, of course, trying to check out some overseas talent. He was playing in Australia. Big bodied guy. I mean, he's all 7 feet. The thing that intrigues me about him is he's actually a really good ball handler. You know, as much as we're trying to stay away from that. He's a really good ball handler, which also means that I think he could have the opportunity to be a really good passer. Now, is he going to play for the Knicks? I think he can. I doubt it. I think he might be a Westchester, product as well, and just develop that way. The touch around the basket is intriguing because he has it. He does have soft touch. It's just a matter of actually finishing with both hands over both shoulders. I want to just see a little bit more of that. The rim protection is good, not great. He's one of those guys that could kind of turn into a pogo stick because he does get block shots. Not saying that he doesn't, but anticipation, timing, he's like a young Mitch. You see the talent is there in terms of blocking the shot. He needs to show more of the ability to keep the ball in bounds when blocking those shots. That's something else I would like to see. The fluidity is what he doesn't have, though. I think drop coverage is going to be something where he's going to have to work on that considerably. He kind of lacks fluidity, tight hips, things like that. But if you want to talk about a straight-up rim protector, staying vertical, altering shots, he got that. He could face up a little bit, which is why I'm saying the touch intrigues me, but doesn't show much of a jump shot. He has to work on his free throws. The form it's weird because his form isn't bad, but, he just isn't really consistent in terms of his shot quite yet. But, yeah, I like the fact that he's a project that has played professionally enough where it's like at least defensively you're going to get 6 good fouls and 6 good rebounds and a couple of blocks. You're going to build off of that. You really can. I mean, he's one of those guys that down the road you could bring him in. Do I think that he's going to end up playing? We have to see how the center situation, unfold with free agency and trades or whoever. So, but yeah, he's definitely a Westchester guy. I don't see him being on, the main roster immediately. Has to do a lot with the offensive side of the ball in order to do so.
There you go, man. I'm going to take a phone call from the phones. 914. What's your name? Where you calling in from? YO. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, hello, sir.
Oh, this is CP?
This is Pizza Hut, man. How can I take your order, man? What do you need?
Yo, this is crazy, man. I ain't never. Oh man, CP, you can't even imagine. I'm a fan, man.
Okay. All right. What's your name? Where you calling in from, man?
My name is Boucher, man. I'm calling from Yonkers, New York, home of Mary J. Blige, The Lox, and DMX.
Yes, sir. Home of the Brave, man. Yep.
Yeah, man. I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan.
Okay.
And I can't believe I'm on this.
Yeah,
but
man.
Now, first and foremost, let me shout you out. We ain't got Alex here today. We got the other gentleman here today, David.
We got Dave in here, man.
Shout out to you, David. Yeah. But
appreciate you.
I like the picks. I like the picks we had today. I like Tyler. I really like Tyler. He's going to help relieve a lot of pressure. I feel like that we have on Brunson. And I'm a Kansas fan. Kansas is my college, so I like I like the second pick. I like him, man. But I want to see how he comes back off the injury. They said he came into the interviews on crutches.
I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, they said he came into the interviews on crutches. So I want to know how he turns out. But with this the question that I got for you, CP. I wanted to know, right, with us picking up this big man. I know David said we think we're gonna stash him, but do you think this means now that we get rid of Mitchie?
No, man. No. Appreciate the call, man. No, man. No.
No, as much as the kid has upside with, pick and roll ability and, offensive rebounding, because he is actually a pretty good rebounder. There's no way that, that's a replacement for Mitch immediately.
No. This is development time. This is development time, man. You gotta wait and see what's going on. This is not automatic roster spot. I highly doubt he even makes the team. So, We're just gonna have to wait and see, man.
You're thinking best scenario for this kid, and no disrespect to who I'm gonna mention, but like he has the chance to be like a Thomas Bryant type player. He's certain, which is serviceable.
Yeah,
good big, good defensive big, but for what they have currently and what they're trying to do within this construct of what they got with the team and everybody in their prime. I mean, a majority of the roster is under 30.
Prime.
They're not looking to just be like, oh yeah, we're gonna bring this 22-year-old raw project up.
Yeah.
No, we're not. They're not doing that.
Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Shout out to Reap1602 and Janelle Torre. Just joined the franchise channel members, man. Definitely appreciate the support. What else did you think about the draft, man? How did you think about you saw Risa Shea go first? Alex Sarr went to the Wizards. What did you think about the draft, at least at the top end?
That blew my mind. I was not expecting. I mean, you heard rumblings of it, but everyone thought Sarr was number one. Mm-hmm. And this draft is tricky. I mean, Reed Shepherd, I could see why he's going 3. I just am like, if it wasn't Houston, I don't think he would go 3. It's just, it's just one of those things where it's like the need kind of just they're plugging in what they need immediately, not necessarily like the best player. And then also, it's not like there are superstars in this draft. This is like a really good draft for glue guys that, have the potential to be, really, really good players down the road. But you don't see any like superstars in here that's just like, no, that kid's going to be a franchise player, which is fine. I mean, but I thought that, Klingon going to Portland is pretty good, pairing him up and developing him there. But the top end, I think Reed is going to be a really good fit with that second unit in Houston. The two, Sarr and Zach, I'm just like, it's weird. It's just a weird fit considering that they didn't, Sarr didn't even work out for Atlanta, so we kind of knew that was a moot point. It was just like kind of like one of those weird, situations in which you knew who was going to go 1, 2, and 3, you just didn't know where. So that was kind of like my takeaway with that. The Lakers though, with Dalton Knecht.
Yeah.
Yes. I was shocked he fell to 17.
Was it an age thing? What do you think about that? Because it seems like every year that kind of happens.
It has to be. I mean, it has to be. For him to go into Tennessee and average the numbers he did, the percentages he did, and just his style of play. You look at the kid, he's a dog. He's tough, and it's very rare to find a combination of a player who's, tough, is able to play, multiple positions. He does a really good job of playing off of 2 feet, both perimeter and in the paint. So, now you have a player that you can run pin downs off of him. And if JJ, does what he says he was going to do with running, having AD be the hub of the offense, a lot of opportunities for pick and pop, pick and roll, inside hand DHO with the chase. I mean, this kid is good, man. I like him a lot. So the Lakers did a really good job, in my opinion. But yeah, Ryan Dunn going to Phoenix, interesting. I think them getting Oso as well. Oso is my dark horse. I like that kid a lot from Marquette, the big man. I think that he's going to be really, really good for them. They need a defensive presence.
They needed a big,
they needed that. They needed that big time. So, my biggest takeaways in terms of that, I think they did a pretty good job as well.
That's what's up, man. I see Deej on the Discord. Deej, go ahead and unmute your mic.
CP, what's the word, man? I'm good.
And loud and clear, man. How you feeling, bro?
How you feeling, CP? One
good.
Time for the one-time chat gang. David, what's up, man? CP, hit that thumbs up for your boys real quick.
Man. Let's get those likes up.
Yeah, it's 2,000 people in here, 468. Let's get those likes up.
Let's go.
Again, I don't really expect Pac-Man and Ariel to play, but CP, it's been a long time since I got to do some nicknames for some kids, man. We're talking about when you first pulled up with KnicksFanTV. So I got to bless the room.
Yeah.
Again, first time in a while. I got Pac-Man. I got Tyler, the Creator. I got K-Mac. I got A-Wall. And these are the guys that are backing up the guys. And look, I've been a big fan of K-Mac all year.
Yeah.
I'm glad that K-Mac and Tyler both fell into the second round. Good job, Leon Rose, saving some money for the team, but also getting some first-round talent that dropped because they were older players. You guys understand the labels and everything. So we're just looking for anybody that could replace the roles of some of the people that we're losing, and also any kids that could fill a role like OG when he goes down. You slide McHale to that 3, put Dante in that 2. That was Josh McBride and K-Mac off that bench. And also on top of that, I just want to factor in like the East. I know we did great, so I definitely want to salute what we did. But I'm David CP. I'm watching Boston, man. They got my man Baylor. I didn't like that. It didn't feel good. Miami, they had a heck of a draft, getting Big K.
Yes.
There was somebody else that they got. But all in all, man, I'm very happy with what we did. If you're a Knicks fan in this chat gang, and I'm gonna land my plane rapid fire style. If you're a Knicks fan today, the last 48 hours should feel like a dream, man. So definitely salute to everybody in here. CP, David, my only question to y'all is who else you think won in this draft as a collective? CP, I'm out. Peace and love.
Appreciate it, man. King Deej on the check-in. What do you think, Dave? Is there a team who you would say kind of won the draft or hit it out the park with their picks?
Miami with Ware is very intriguing. We know the player development history that Miami has. And he's another one that I'm shocked that he dropped as much as he did. Low-key, the Timberwolves getting robbed was huge. And I love Mike Conley. I think that he's, an excellent human being, one of the nicest guys I've ever met in the league, and a great point guard. But the injury history is just, you need insurance.
Yeah.
And this kid is a bucket. And he showed the ability of playing the point guard position, but being a combo at Kentucky. And he came off the bench, just one of those guys that, I'm going to come off the bench. I'm going to do my thing, get some buckets here and there. So I think Minnesota did a great job. Miami did a great job. The Lakers obviously caught my eye with Dalton. But yeah, he just mentioned it. Boston picking up young man from Creighton. Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Shooter and big, tough. I mean, that's one of those things where it's kind of like if they're going to lose like a Hauser, to free agency, his, the market value for him is up or, things like that. You're filling in a role in which defensively they're tough and offensively you can see what they're capable of doing. I think they did a good job with their draft as well. But no, I think in my opinion, I want to see how Ware pans out for Miami first. That could be the guy that, changes everything for that team. Yeah, I think that he can change everything for that team.
Wow. So you see them playing him and Bam together.
The thing about Bam is this, like Bam is a center. Granted, defensively he protects the rim and can score and do all that other stuff. There have been rumblings that, not saying that he's playing within the system and just doing the numbers. He puts up really good numbers within that system altogether. I mean, hell, he's an Olympian. He's an all-star. But he could be able to help spread, stretch the floor. But this kid Ware, with the ability that he has at the height that he has, now you have a guy that's also a really good rim runner. With the type of shooters that Miami has and, Jaime being the guy that plays off of 2 feet, now you're looking at the opportunities. Well, if you need somebody to operate out of the pinch post, both of those guys can do it, and you have shooters on both ends of the court with a heady point guard or whoever they have. And, they have Jimmy Butler. So it's kind of like, let's just see how that pans out with this kid. I think that if they're able to develop him the way that I think they will, he could really be, a force with the team. Not saying an all-star, but he's one of those guys that could change the dynamic of the offense more so, because they relied heavily on, I love Kevin Love, but he's up there, he's long in the tooth, and it's time. Yeah. So, I think they're going to do a really good job developmental wise. I think, they might have gotten a steal with that one.
Yeah, sure, you could trust Bolster and those guys for that. And I've been wondering since he got into the league if Bam has another level to get to offensively, man, because you always see the flashes, but sometimes it's like, damn, like I always feel like he could be doing more, So let's see.
Yeah, me too. And listen, I'm not trying to advocate that he should do more. Hey,
Yeah.
man, listen, if you're listening, stay where you at.
Yeah,
we could,
right.
we could, I think you're doing A-okay. I just know though, with his ability to put the ball on the floor, there are a lot of other things that he could do. And I also think the Derek Lively effect, showing that you could bring a big off the bench that's a spark plug, pick and roll option only, that opens up the floor for everybody else. More so in the sense of high screens in the slot. That's something that Miami wasn't doing too well this year. And as I said, just because of the fact you had K-Love, and then after that it's Caleb Martin. And no slight to either one of those guys, but it's not the same effect as 7 foot rolling.
Yeah.
That can catch around the rim and could also spread the floor a little bit offensively. Yeah, I think they hit it on the head with that kid.
And with the Dillingham pickup by the Timberwolves, I mean, that was a spot they needed to upgrade. Conley's great, but they needed more punch, more firepower on the perimeter. They needed to. He set that table for them, and they needed him. But they now it's time to take that next step up. They needed some more explosiveness on the perimeter next to Ant-Man, and so that was the move for them. That was the obvious move for them to make.
Yeah, that's a little bit scary to think about if they're able to play together, because Ant-Man, and he learns how to properly post. Then you have Rob at the perimeter, and Ant doesn't have to do everything on his own in the perimeter. Keep Rudy. Safety net for Rudy, too. If you have a scoring guard. Now the pick and roll becomes a little bit easier, and you don't have to rely on Karl Anthony just having to spread the floor from three. McDaniels could just play straight defense and knock down the open three in the corner. And Ant-Man can post. He could operate in the mid, which he showed the ability to do so this past playoffs. Just ran out of gas. And, if you have another partner in the backcourt that could help spread the floor, it's going to help a lot.
True indeed, man. 203. What's your name and where you calling in from?
Yo, what's good, man? This is GQ, man. I'm checking in from CT from Connecticut.
Yes,
man.
sir.
How you doing tonight,
good, man. How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great, man. I'm pumped, man. The Knicks is turning up right now. We finally got some competent people in the front office. I'm feeling real confident, but I just want to prepare all the fans in the chat. Not trying to be an Ari, but we're probably going to lose either Hartenstein, Deuce, or Mitch. We got to pick one, man. We ain't going to be able to keep everybody, and that's okay. Yeah. Sometimes you got to lose some of the good ones to go further, bro.
Yeah. Look,
what's your thoughts on that?
No, I hear you, man. And, look, you've been hearing me say that since I saw the channel. Like, as the Knicks revamp this roster, everybody's not going to be able to come along for the ride, man. That's just what it is. But you could also be confident that at least they're going to try. Because the way that they maneuver every single draft, man, like, they're moving up, they're moving back, they're saving money, they're acquiring more picks for the future. So this front office, they got scenarios mapped out for everything, man. And so, I think what they did between yesterday and today, I think they are trying to at least be able to prepare to make Isaiah Hartenstein his offer to get as close to the max. Now, the challenge will be, what offers does he have out there, and is he going to lean towards that? Is it more money, or is it going to be the years that ultimately, Hartenstein has to decide on? And I think we'll find more about that on Sunday night.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it also helps to have a front office that knows basketball. Leon Rose, besides the business standpoint, we all know the businessman of Leon Rose. The basketball acumen is really high. Like, he knows hoops. He knows how the locker room's gonna, operate. The temperature of the room, offenses. Like, he actually knows the game. So it's not like you're dealing with an executive that's just like, they shot 40% from three and this one. Nah, he's kind of, I'm feeling the temp out. This is what we got. This might fit. This is the offense. This is the coach that we're using. They're building a team off the identity of Tibbs.
Yeah.
Let's just keep it a buck.
Yeah.
Playing defense, and then, they're going to create offense with the star players that they have, but also it might simplify it. And that's why I think the Bridges trade was so huge compared to, and I like OG a lot. Like OG a lot, but the Bridges element is way, way different than just having a lockdown defender who shoots 40% from three from the corners,
Right.
or in general, excuse me. I really like it a lot. However, now you have a guy who Bridges really did a really good job of operating in the mid-range. So
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
necessarily one of those things where he's just there to spread the floor. He's actually there to create too.
He can create.
Right. So you're looking at how these guys, and granted, they all played together in college or whatever, but they're also just good players in their own right. They all do one thing elite that complement each other. So credit to Leon Rose for thinking about that. And it also helps to have your boys there. You know, it's a good dynamic. You know, they're all super duper tight. But yeah, unfortunately, there has to be somebody that's, on the outs. And it is what it is. It's business. And, someone gets paid, great. They take care of their family. That's all it is. It's all love, man. God bless. But I think this team is constructed to do really well. I just want to see how they're looking at the backup center position, not more so even just the starting center. There needs to be an insurance for Mitch, or there needs to be insurance for whoever is going to fill in that role once they develop, if Jericho's here, if Isaiah's here, if Mitch is here, there's a lot of ifs. So it's just like, these are the guys that are going to help get your shooters open and control the tempo of the game with rebounds. That's vital. So let's just, cross that bridge when we get there. But yeah, it is what it is, man.
Yeah. Not taking, well, people say, well, they didn't draft a center in the draft, but also there was kind of a run on centers from when Ware got taken at 15, Missy came off the board, Edie was taken a long time ago, who else? Holmes was taken by Denver. So by the time you got to the Knicks, a lot of those big men that were kind of high on scouts lists were already gone. So I wonder if that may have changed their draft board, but they didn't come out of it with a center. It's not clear how much money they will have in free agency. It may just be down to like bare bones, like veteran minimums. So you're talking, the Andre Drummond types of the world. So if they lose Mitch or they lose Ihart, I think the center position could be a potential area of weakness, going forward if they lose one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean, they could, there's always, there as long as they have centers that are able to rebound and play make, they did a great job, and they thrived when Ihart was, as I said, they were running a lot of blind pig action, Gortat screens, things like that with him. And, he's just a warrior. He did a great job rebounding the basketball. You have a big man that's able to do that because now they have the perimeter situation kind of set up, and the mid-range is something that I was really, really leery of, but now Bridges is here. All right, cool. Well, what other big men, could facilitate like that? Drummond, Mason Plumlee, like guys like that, where it's just those guys could facilitate. They're not commanding a lot on the market. It's just something to take a look at.
How'd you like that Ihart floater this year, man? Seemed like it was really potent this year, man.
Ooh, I like it. I like it. That's smooth, man.
Yeah.
I saw a little bit of it in the preseason. I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be the bread and butter, man. That's something that Jericho's been working on the low as well. Contrary to what everybody sees on social media, which is once again hilarious.
Yeah.
We don't just work on threes and free throws. He's doing a lot with the floaters and the baby hooks and the drop steps, like all big man moves. It's just it helps to have guys to help spread the floor in case of emergency. So, but Ihart did a great job of expanding his game in terms of his role. When he got here, he was the center that was supposed to just pass and help spread the floor, and then he ended up being, one of the best offensive rebounding centers in the league. Goes a long way, man, when you just buy into your role.
No question, man. Another guy I want to talk about, Deuce McBride. The caller did talk about Deuce McBride. Tremendous leaps in accuracy this season. Went from 31 to 41% from three. The mid-range, 33 to 39. Effective field goal percentage went up from 45 to 56. Deuce. You guys had, practice together, work together. What did you see, from your standpoint and how you evaluate players in terms of his improvements this year?
Well, I've never trained. I've never worked out Deuce. I've
Okay.
just been around him outside with through OB and Quick.
Mm-hmm.
When he first got here, he was. But I will say this: he's a gym rat. He's one of those guys that is in the facility late at night, early,
Mm-hmm.
just working on his game, just because of I know by proxy being around the organization. So the leap that he made, it was surprising because it's just like 41% from three. That's great, no matter who you are. Like that's really good, no matter who you are. But it wasn't surprising in the sense of how much work he's put in.
Mm-hmm.
And he did spend some time in the G League this year. Like he did have some appearances with Westchester just to kind of tune some things up. However, his aggressiveness and him reading the floor were the things that stuck out to me the most. Granted, yes, he did have double-digit scoring games and explosive three-point barrages, and those are all great things. But the playmaking part, that is what was the thing that I was like, oh yeah, this kid is getting it, and he's the kid that we all thought we were getting from West Virginia as fans. So you're just like a defensive player on ball, does a great job of his closeouts, contains, runs guys off the line, pesky, but then he's also able to hit the open three. He's going to be way more valuable for that second unit with Tyler now being around. I think that is going to be the 1-2 punch that the backcourt size won't be great. However, it might not matter just because of the fact that they're just both pretty good defenders. So, yeah, Deuce impressed the hell out of me. Great athlete. I think he's gonna do special things in the league. But he's another one. I think they got him on a great deal.
Yeah,
and they were able to manage tremendous deal. So it's just like, how long is that going to stay under the radar for the next 2 years once the option's available? So, yeah, pretty intriguing.
Yeah, no question, man. You mentioned Obi, you mentioned Quick. Couple of guys that shooting 40% from three, man. I mean, was it you? What was the secret ingredient to the shooting efficiency, man?
All them. Obi.
Yeah.
Shout out to those dudes, man. Those are great guys, hardworking dudes. But I will say this: Obi, hard worker. Bought into what Rick Carlisle was having him do from the jump, and right after everything transpired with the trade and, just got to work and talked to Rick and was just like, yo, this is going to be my role. This is what I want to work on. So when he was in LA, he was working out with Chris Johnson, great trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And then when he came here to New York, we got busy. We got to work and just working on his three roll. But it's all him, man. Like I know that's another gym rat. Him and Quick. I'll tell you, man, those dudes are just they love being in the gym and they love working on their craft, and they're also good human beings.
Yeah.
So they're open to constructive criticism and things like that, where it's like, I'm going to develop my game. This is how I need to do it. So shout out to them. I'm really happy for them. They played themselves into a good contract as well.
Big time.
Big time. So it'll be interesting to see where they stay or end up or what they get. But I'm really, really excited and proud of them both.
Yeah, man. Payday for both of those guys incoming. What's that process like for you? Like when you're working with a player, how do you develop that training plan? Is it, in tandem with the team? Is it you reviewing film and saying, hey, here's some things that I noticed and let's try this? Is it the players team coming to you like, these are some areas that we think he needs to work on? How does that work?
So all the above. So what I like to do is I like to talk to the teams of the players that I work with. Whether it's developmental coaches or, assistant coaches. And if I'm lucky enough, the executives of the respective teams, I could talk to them just to see what their role is going to be, because every team has a role for the player. Even if you're the star player, the role is what you're asking them to do and work on. The difference is when you watch film, because I like to get on Synergy and Sport Code in order to break down their film, I ask and get all of their misses. I don't like watching the makes. I like to study the offenses the tempo of the offenses, rebounding opportunities, transition opportunities, and then obviously the half court set. And then we break down the schedule. I'm a sicko. So I'll look at the schedule and be like, all right.
Like the game schedule.
Yeah. So if I know that you're going to play Philadelphia, 2 times in the first 15 games, but then we also have, Washington and, I'm just making this up at the moment. But if I see you have specific teams that play drop coverage, but like to tag their man on the cut, but then the nail cut is not available. All right, this is what we're going to work on for this month. This way, the first 25 games of the season, you're in a rhythm in which you see, oh yeah, okay, Embiid's going to show, he's going to hedge, this guy ices here, this. So then throughout the season, when I do see these guys, then we clean it up where it's like, all right, look, you had Philly, then you have Philly 2 more times, 1 home, 1 away. They're going to guard you like this. Oubre is going to show that, little things like that. That's how I go about training my players. And then the third part about that is, yes, their team. It's vital. They're with these people every day. Their agents, their managers, their family, moms, dads. Like, you want to get the temperature of the room. You want the player to feel comfortable. So I'm not going to walk in there and say, you're going to do 8 combos and do this, this, and this, and this. A, the player's not comfortable doing that right off the rip, but then B, you're taking him out of his element for his role, which is why it's interesting when fans make assumptions off of videos where they see something. Trust me, when I see these guys, and you can ask any player that I've trained, I will tell you, this is your schedule. You shot this, 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 and this. I'm a sicko when it comes to that. I'll remember stats, the percentages of the floor, what they're trying to do. And then once the playoffs start, you obviously have to, back off. If some guys ask to clean things up, we'll do it. But this year in particular, I didn't do anything with any of the guys just because of the fact, everyone's banged up. They're resting. It is what it is. The practice schedule is a little bit different in the playoffs. And the attention to detail, obviously they know each other like the back of their hand. There's not much more you can do but just get reps. So credit to the player development coaches of those organizations, but that's how I go about it with those guys. And then we're back and running now in the off season, man. So I wait till the schedule comes out after the draft, happens, the free agency, the pieces that come in. I'll study the new guys that are there and look at their percentages and just say how that might affect, more mid-range opportunities or whatever, So I think that more and more trainers should do that just because you can't have a blanket way of training. Some guys actually appreciate their development in a different standpoint. And, goes back to what I did with Serge, the way he played before Kawhi got there to Toronto. Remember, I got him when he had DeRozan.
Right.
And Kyle Lowry, and they were playing a different system under Casey. Nick Nurse gets there and Kawhi gets there the same time. So you're just like, oh, we have to change everything. Yeah. So, it just goes into that. But that's how I approach it. And it's detailed, it's arduous, but I love it, man. Wouldn't trade it for the world.
Adaptability, attention to detail, research, and preparation, man. That's good stuff, man. Great answer, bro. What does the offseason look like for you?
I got a lot of college guys, and then once July hits, the NBA guys are back in swing. A few of the Knicks are home, and they've worked out here and there. Those guys, man, they're insatiable. Like they just want to work. So I've worked with a few of them already. It's just it's been refreshing. It's something where they want to modify things, recalibrate things. Just kind of get reps up. You know what I mean? Like this is the time of year their bodies are healing, but also they just want to stay around the game. But July is when we hit the ground running, and I have a bunch of guys in the league now that we'll congregate in New York, or I'll go travel to see them. So, it'll pick up then, and then also my college guys. My UConn guys. They're trying to go 3 in a row.
Trying to get number 3.
Man, it's nuts, man. It's pretty cool to see Samson Johnson being one of them. I coached him in high school.
Wow.
So to see his growth, surreal. I'm very, very proud of him. Very excited for him. So, yeah, that's going to be my offseason, man. It's just going to be work, work, work. But as I said, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
There it is, man. Well, keep up the good work, man. Definitely appreciate the time that you gave us. And let's catch up for a season preview before the season tips off. We'll see what the full roster looks like and really dissect this thing, man, because I think they're going to have a lot of options in how they play, how the rotations could look, who can play off of who. I mean, I'm very excited to see where this Knicks team goes, man, just like the rest of the fans, man.
Little summer league show?
Summer league? Absolutely, man. Let's coordinate the dates. And, yeah, we could definitely get it going, man. I'll be out there for a minute, so let's do it, bro. Let's absolutely do it, man. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Like, share, and subscribe, man. Remember that the show is brought to you by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use our code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. Also, remember that the show is available in audio podcast format. No reason to miss it, but if you did, just hit the rewind button. And as always, man, salute to the replay gang. So, another action-packed day, another action-packed episode of KFTV, man. Once again, like, share, subscribe. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. And next show, unless anything blockbuster happens between now and then, next show will be Sunday, the free agency show, starting at 6 p.m., man. So lock in, and we'll see you there, man. CPA franchise, Dave Zenon. We out of here, man. Peace.
Peace. Thank you.